Hey, we got some interviews going on here. We got Good Morning America, and then we also have another repeat from the Today Show to break down, but both of them include Ben Chu and Camille Vasquez. So unlike when Elaine Bredehoft last week, well, at the end of last week, was making the rounds on her own because Rottenborn was just so fucking happy to be done with Amber Heard. Because I haven't heard fucking word one from that dude. And he's just like, I'm fucking cleaning my hands of this nonsense. I ain't getting paid for this shit, so I'm just going to go ahead and fuck off and go back to doing some real lawyering work. So now that Brown Rudnick, get that name right, Brown Rudnick had handed out their accolades. Camille has been made partner. They're going around and they're telling their side of the story, seeing if, you know, they're going to be able to collect from Amber Heard, because I haven't heard anything from said interview, but I know that one of the common themes through here is they know that Amber Heard is pretty much fucking broke, so it's going to be a bitch to try to collect, but I don't know what else is on here. I know that we got about 10 minutes worth of interviews across the two here before we get into what is coming out of Camp Amber, which this fucking bitch, she won't let anybody go. Remember how she said, I just want Johnny to leave me alone. Take your own fucking advice, cunt. But we got George Snuffleupagus here interviewing both Ben and Camille, and hey, he's a pretty decent interviewer, so this should be pretty interesting. So let's take a look.
Camille, let me begin with you. I think the verdict surprised a lot of legal experts. They thought it was a very uphill fight from the beginning for you all. What was the key to victory?
Oh, she's very cute. But no, and I've got everything sped up to 1.25, mostly because copyright's a motherfucker on here, but also at the same time to just try to churn everything along. But that was, yes, exactly. If this was just going to be strictly a defamation case, and if Amber Heard's side would have just curtailed that in order to present the best case for that, it would have been a bitch of a time, okay? Experts would have been correct on this case, okay? Pure, strict defamation against a public figure such as Johnny Depp is a motherfucker to prove. But Amber Heard kept spinning this fantastical story over and over and over again and didn't have the receipts to back it up. So it ballooned from a simple, I made some statements that didn't directly implicate you, into this, yes, I got raped on top of a bar surrounded by broken glass with a fucking Maker's Mark bottle that's still actually some pieces are in there. So knowing that she's going to need to pony up about $8.35 million for that judgment, you better have some pretty cool fucking tricks and be able to put it on a unique show out there. So
I think the key to victory was focusing on the facts and the evidence, and Johnny's opportunity to speak the truth for the first time. It was 6 years in the making, and I think he was able to connect with the jury and the general public and tell what really happened in this relationship.
He wasn't in the...
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's the way that they went, and that was obviously their case because they were the side that got to go first, so they were able to open it up to, yeah, no, this is actually what happened. We know the story that's been out there in People Magazine and Washington Post, okay, everything that's out there, that Johnny Depp is this horrible abuser. But here's actually what did happen, and here's the receipts, and here's everybody else that said all of her statements are kind of just predicated on a lie, so it's up to you guys to rebut that if you want that. And they took the bait and they ran with it directly into the ground. So sucks to suck, I guess.
Courtroom for the verdict. What was his reaction when you told him?
He was over the moon. It was like the weight of the world had been taken off his shoulders. And I feel that finally, after 6 years, he's gotten his life back.
He also went on TikTok yesterday thanking his supporters on social media. What role did social media play in this verdict?
We'll be talking more about that TikTok post because, okay, of all the places for Johnny Depp to go, because he has, Instagram, and now he has TikTok, okay, and he had another very good statement. Regrettably, it's on TikTok, and I'm not going on that fucking degenerate Chinese spy program, fuck that, but you know who else is on TikTok? Amber Heard. But again, this is a very, very, very good question, and we know Elaine was out there just spurging out, oh, all the jurors and the jury and everybody in the world was against Amber Heard. It didn't matter that they couldn't, and they were forbid to go against it, and that they still were on there, and they were influenced. Otherwise, we had all the facts. Our mountain of evidence was, oh, fuck off and just feed your cats, you dumb old bitch.
My view is that social media played no role whatsoever. This was a decision made by the jury on the evidence presented by both sides, And as Camille said, it was overwhelmingly in Mr. Depp's favor.
That's the correct answer, by the way, because yes, every single night after the jury was dismissed for the day, well, before they were dismissed for the day, right? They were given the instructions, don't go on social media, don't research anything to do with the case. And it's weird, right? When you have such responsibility placed upon you, some people take it to the nth degree. Other people just, you know what, hey, you know, you can kind of disassociate that, okay? You're here for 8-9 hours a day and you're just here focusing on the evidence, and then outside of that, yeah, it's basically impossible. You pick up your fucking phone, you click on literally anything, and during that 7 weeks, it was impossible to avoid the fucking trial. Even now, right now, everything that's still trending, basically every single news outlet still has a Johnny Depp or an Amber Heard story, okay? That's why I'm still doing this shit. Well, actually like doing this stuff because it's such a nice shift away from politics for the moment, because covering politics too much is just fucking depressing. But this is great because it also taps into another one of my big pet projects, okay, something that I really like talking about, and that's massive amount of inequality that there is between the sexes, and giving these bitches their just dessert. But no, yes, once again, just circling back to old Ben Chu here, he's completely right, and he just has the funniest faces in the game. Like, what's with the rock elbow or eyebrow there, my guy?
Ms. Heard's lawyers put out a statement yesterday saying the verdict was a setback for women's rights, and they went on to say that it's unseemly and unprofessional for you all to be, quote, taking a victory lap for setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. How do you respond to that?
That's retarded. Unless, of course, you consider, okay, in the way that they, response to the lawyers, okay,
It is as unseemly as it is unprofessional that Johnny Depp's legal team has chosen to do a victory lap.
They were basically quiet before this interview. Like, I didn't hear fucking word one from Chu or Vasquez, okay? Like, the first thing that we seen was, congratulations on your promotion, Camille. Round of applause for her, but they didn't really do anything outside of just a really brief statement outside the courtroom. And then they've been quiet for the past week, because today is, today is the 1 week anniversary of Amber Heard taking the first fucking L and finally being held accountable for the first time in her life. So congratulations, round of applause for that. So the way that this statement reads, and let's just read through the rest of it, okay, they've taken chose to do a victory lap for setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. No, unless of course you consider, okay, unless they're bigger misogynists that I could ever hope to be, unless they think that all women are fundamental liars, that's the only group of women that have been set back in the courtroom. Well, actually treated appropriately. So if you think that all women fabricate lies, everybody has the propensity and everybody can in fact lie. But if you think, okay, that every woman who comes forward with a claim is 100% telling the truth, you're out of your gourd. But that's what they believe, okay? And that was the client that they had and that they chose and that they continue to stick behind for whatever stupid reason, because it's not like she's paying the bills, okay? Maybe she cooks a mean meal and you can go hang out in the desert with her for a while. But whatever. What's next? A movie deal and merchandising? No, give it enough time and there's going to be a mini-series going around this trial. I goddamn well guarantee it. But what does this mean? Okay, we'll run back the question here from Snuffleupagus and see what Camille's response was, because he said, what's your response to the statement here? But we'll just let him say it in his own words.
For setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. How do you respond to that?
I think it's disappointing. We're only speaking about what happened in this case, right? And the facts in this case were overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and the verdict speaks for itself.
How about the
no lies detected, and that's why she's partner now.
The broader criticism, though, it's not just from Heard's teams. Victims advocates have argued that the verdict is going to have a chilling effect on domestic violence victims, and it's a blow to the Me Too movement.
Like I said before, it's a blow to liars, and that's about it. Okay, if you actually have the receipts, you will be proven out to be the one with the goods, because that's what happened here. Johnny Depp had the receipts. He was the one who was telling the truth. He won at the end of the day. Amber Heard BTFO'd.
I think our response to that is we encourage any victim to come forward. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
Absolutely. Based Camille right there. It's not believe all women. It's not believe all victims, okay? It's investigate all crimes. If you come forward with some nebulous claim of, oh my God, I was sexually abused. Well, what happened? Well, I woke up in the morning and I wasn't quite as happy as I thought I would be because the guy told me that he was a doctor. But then when I woke up in the morning, I realized that he was a barista at Starbucks and I felt violated because of that. No, that's not a crime. That's not abuse. That's just you making a bad decision. Okay? It's going to take many, 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 many more victories just like this in order to shift that narrative from ending a man's career with a single fucking statement to going back to, okay, maybe there is something that's going on here. Okay, you do have pictures, you do have evidence, okay, and now we can go forward. And you're actually going to be open to medical investigations. Oh, okay, cool. So we can actually, get to the bottom of this stuff and have justice served for you. It's going to take so many more victories out there. This is merely the start, hopefully the start of something good, not just a one-off event, even though I kind of fear it is the latter in this. Anyways.
So you don't see this as a setback to the movement in any way, shape, or form?
We do not. We believe that the verdict speaks for itself. The facts are what they were. The jury made a unanimous decision based on those facts.
Okay, so far, like I said, I haven't watched any of this interview right here, but so far, the way that Camille is not placating and not bending the knee to the Me Too narrative, okay, that, okay, we know Amber Heard was crazy and stuff, okay, we're just going to go ahead and set her off over here. But again, what Strombolopoulos, okay, is trying to push here, it's like, well, it was damaging to the movement. No, all we're doing is just prosecuting this one very case, and that's all we're going to be speaking on, okay? This isn't a setback for women, okay? Just because the face of gender-based violence for the ACLU took a fat fucking L doesn't mean anything to the broader scope of anything, you fucking communist.
During your cross-examination, what was your impression of Ms. Heard's impression on the jury?
I think that her
Y'all see that little smile there? That was hilarious.
Impression on the jury was what it was. I think something.
Let me translate the womanese for you. Yeah, they weren't buying anything that bitch was saying, and it was fucking hilarious, and I had to try to keep all of my laughter under wraps. That's what she wanted to say, but she's keeping it professional. She just got a promotion after all.
That I focused on and we focused on in that cross-examination was using her words against her. And it was very important for us to, every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously. And I think the jury got to see and the world got to see and hear from Ms. Heard in that relationship on every single topic.
And George, I think.
No, absolutely. They didn't really actually even need to ask any questions, really. The most impactful testimony and everything that was given on cross-examination was her own words, played back to her, either through video deposition or through clips from the stupid James Corden show, okay, or just audio recordings. She fucking hung herself. And there's a joke there that I won't say because people might actually be watching this.
There was a real contrast. Johnny took ownership of a lot of things. And it seemed at times, and perhaps it came through to the jury, that she had an answer for everything, and she wasn't taking accountability for anything. And
fucking based Ben Jew right there. Exactly, yeah. When they were running through the direct examination of Johnny Depp, he was like, yeah, I have substance abuse issues. Okay, I wanted to see if I was an alcoholic. Okay, so I went and I checked, and it's like, is there anything I can do about this? So it's like I stop and I have big long breaks. Okay, and then it's just celebratory, and then I go have a drink. Okay, I have champagne when I'm giving an award. How sweet is his life? Okay, I'm just flying around and I'm gonna go give a surprise award to Christopher Lee. It's fucking awesome. Okay, that's a great story in and of itself. Okay, and then I had a glass of champagne. Okay, yeah, and I had a horrific time getting off of opioids and a store. Oh God, and that's where I just completely turned on Amber Heard because it's now 4 o'clock. Yeah, but he's literally fucking dying, and detoxing from opioids and alcohol are the only two things that can kill you in and of itself. The rest of this stuff, yeah, you can struggle through a cold turkey detoxification. No, not for Amber Heard. She's very structured. Unfortunately, she wasn't that structured when it came to telling her lies. But yeah, no, it's exactly that honesty that he offered up in his direct and cross and rebuttal examinations every single time he was taking responsibility. As much as the closing arguments from Rottenborn was like, oh, well, Johnny Depp's side, and he doesn't want to take any responsibility for anything. We watched the trial, stupid. What do you think, you can gaslight us like Amber Heard? Oh, yeah, I don't fucking think so, okay? And her, on the other side, oh, well, I've never done drugs before. No, okay, and then just walk it back. Well, no, only 2 times with Johnny, and it was kind of a couple of times, and I'd never do it again, and I would never do cocaine except for the couple of times that I did, and I'm very much against MDMA, and unless of course I'm going to Coachella the day after I was brutally beat about the head or neck or whatever the fuck she alleged. But there was no accountability from a woman. Can't say I'm shocked.
I think that made a difference.
Heard's lawyers say she plans to appeal the verdict. She doesn't have the money to pay for the judgment. And you all have said that the goal is not to impoverish Ms. Heard.
Yeah, but it should, though.
Is it possible where we could see a settlement where she forgoes the appeal in return for Mr. Depp waiving any monetary damages?
Well, George,
I hope not. I really hope not. But then again, I'm not as benevolent as these very rich people are. I just want to see her suffer at this point.
we obviously can't disclose attorney-client communications, but as Mr. Depp testified, and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
So you're not disclosing?
So yeah, no, George, he's not going to waive his attorney-client privilege because that's a huge ethics violation and definitely a bar complaint waiting off in the distance. And it's not like Johnny actually needs the money, okay? But like he says, and what is believable, especially by the actions over the course of this past week, he just wants to move on with his life. He wants desperately for these past 10 years to just go away. I'm sure the pussy was probably good for a little bit of time, but it's not been worth this headache. He just wants Amber Heard to just fuck off in the desert, okay? He never, ever wants to see her ever again, okay?
Any privileges, but it sounds like that's something that could be on the table, but it's up to Ms. Heard.
Again, we have to be careful what we say, but this was about Mr. Depp's reputation. That was what it was about for him.
Your life has changed a lot in the last several weeks. You got made partner this week. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Both
much.
of you have also become something of social media stars. How has it changed? What does it feel like?
It was pretty cool to see the female Thor memes. No, but still. They're both partners. They both did excellent jobs, okay? We'll just listen to a little bit more of this.
It's been surreal and, if I'm being honest, a bit overwhelming. But if I can be an inspiration to young women that want to go to law school and study and work hard, then it was all worth it.
You made the choice to go to Virginia for this trial. How much of a difference did that make?
I think Virginia was a good venue for some legal and other reasons, and it has a fabulous court system, tremendous judges and fair juries, and I think this, the evidence was listened to carefully on both sides by the jury, and again, it came overwhelmingly in Johnny's favor.
Ms. Heard did win on one count of defamation. Will you be appealing that?
Again, I think it's premature to say, but if you look at the context of the verdict, and it was a total win for Johnny.
Yeah, didn't really have much to add to that. There was just a whole lot of good stuff there, okay? Like, in a world where everybody's being inundated, okay, with just these 40-year-old hose bags with more fucking plastic in them than a Tupperware party, okay? When you have somebody who is attractive, is successful, okay, and their popularity is predicated on their competency when it comes to their job, okay? Being respected for those accomplishments, that's wonderful, okay? And Camille has completely and utterly deserved all of that stuff. And then as for the social media spotlight on Ben Chu, it's also totally deserved because that guy was pulling some funny-ass fucking faces, so... And then when it comes to the appeal in and of itself, yeah, no, exactly. That one statement to the fact that it was like very, very, very long, that was the only reason why they picked it. And the fact that they might have, we're not going to know for sure because there was one juror that came out on TikTok, apparently, even though that's been debunked by people who actually seen the jury, and it's like, yeah, no, didn't really, check out or anything like that. But if on the Heard side, the fact that they forgot to fill out the jury, this is the compensatory damages on her, it was just one of those, like, we got to give her something so she'll just stop fucking complaining, but that didn't end up working ultimately. Yeah, man, there's actually grounds for appeal on that, so we'll just have to see which side blinks first when it comes to that, ultimately. Let's see how this wraps up.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much, George.
Just like that, I guess. But like I said, there's 2 interviews, and okay, Camille's obviously wearing something different, but his, oh no, Chu's shirt is different, so what the fuck? No, but this is Savannah Guthrie, okay? She was the one, that was the first interview that we looked with Elaine. So I just want to see how well she handles Camille and Ben this time around. It's just more of a morbid curiosity, really, than anything else. So let's take a look.
Camille Vasquez and Benjamin Chu. And a quick disclosure, my husband has done consulting work with the Depp legal team.
Why would anybody marry this fucking screaming harpy? And just questions that'll go unanswered for the end of time.
Not in connection with this interview. So with that aside,
yo, he worked for Depp, but has nothing to do with this interview. Okay, thanks. That's, I guess, information. I'm a fair and honest journalist, and I disclose any bias that could potentially be coming out. We have integrity over here at NBC. Get fucked. Nobody believes you.
let me ask you, did you speak to your client right after the verdict? What was his reaction in the moment?
Okay, she sounds way more upbeat in this interview, and this isn't just from the whole speeding up the video or anything like that, but her vocal pitch is up a little bit, okay? And she actually seems excited to be talking to, two sane individuals that probably don't stink like ammonia and look like real human beings with actual haircuts.
I think just an overwhelming sense of relief. I was speaking with another friend of ours, a mutual friend of Johnny's and ours, and he said, I haven't seen Johnny smile like that in 6 years.
The weight of the world is off of his shoulders. He's got his
She just has really great teeth. I don't know. I was just staring at that. Anyways.
life back.
As you well know, the law does not favor a plaintiff like Johnny Depp in a defamation case like this. The burden is very high, the threshold is high, and he crossed it. Frankly speaking, were you stunned at this victory? Ben?
Well, we had ultimate confidence in Johnny and the jury and the facts of this case, and you can only hope that the jury will see it. And in this case, they did, and the verdict was overwhelmingly in his favor.
I should mention the jury did find
Pretty much the exact same stuff here again. Okay. Not admitting that their case was very, very difficult to overcome, but just the fact that, we got offered a fair venue for what we did, and we proved the case as best we could, and it looks like they turned out and everything in our favor. So now she's going to go into the counterclaim, obviously, and let's see how they handle this.
Mr. Depp responsible for defamation for one of the statements made by his lawyer. It accused her essentially of staging a scene in furtherance of an abuse hoax. How do you square that finding with the rest of the verdict, Camille?
Good question, actually. I'd like to see this.
I think it's just the verdict is overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and it was unanimous. There were 7 people that decided he was defamed.
Okay, so just completely skirt it. Just like a lawyer. That's why she's partner now.
Heard's attorney was right here the day after the verdict, and she said the jury had not been permitted to see certain evidence that would have bolstered and verified Amber Heard's claims of abuse, in particular therapist notes. What is your response to that? And was there evidence that was suppressed for a valid legal reason that might have made a difference?
Those are hearsay papers, by the way. Okay, exactly what Elaine stupidly was trying to drag up. I had overwhelming evidence. It wasn't allowed, but it was in the UK. You weren't party in the UK, you fucking old hag. But even still, okay, that is once again a self-reporting to a therapist who was apparently, okay, at least by Amber Heard's testimony, because I've gone back and I've listened to some of it without, cringing too hard. But even still, no, the therapist that she was talking to all the way back in 2012, and we have all the documented evidence of all the abuse that was happening. It was just, once again, self-reporting, not actually like a medical investigation or anything like that, not actually noting down any bruising or anything like that. It was just Amber Heard said this stuff at the time, and she noted it down there. So that means that it definitely happened, and it's not exactly the same thing that we seen for the better part of 4 fucking days while on the stand. Amber just saying something again, therefore that means that it's true, because Amber in the past previously noted that that's exactly what happened. So that's what wasn't allowed, because it's hearsay. Okay, it's her out of court statements offered in order to bolster her version of the truth. It doesn't fucking work like that, sweetheart. So that's what they should be saying. It looks like Ben's about to go off on something.
I think that was very disappointing to hear that, and to hear her impugn the character of the jury. And the evidence came in that should come in, and the judge was very fair to both sides.
In particular, she cites
Yeah, I'd also note that there was probably some other evidence, some other contemporaneous evidence that could come in from Johnny Depp. Like, there's a multitude of audio recordings that are readily available on YouTube, that involve other parties in them as well, that further implicate Amber Heard even deeper. And if they were going to they were going to allow those therapist notes to come in, you better fucking believe those audio recordings better come in at the same time. And if you think that that's even at worst a wash, you should listen to some of those audio recordings, especially the extended cut that's out there that's multiple hours long from Australia, where Amber says in so many words that she doesn't want to cause Johnny any more pain, and she's really sorry for severing his finger. And doctors there are also medicating Amber for her actions, and then they're talking about how they're going to get her out of there so Johnny doesn't get even further injured. It's not a good look for her, but these therapist notes being not offered up, that was the death knell. If only they could show up. I want to hear what their take on this is, though. Enough of my ranting.
the UK judgment. As we all know, Johnny Depp sued The Sun, a newspaper in the United Kingdom. He lost that case, the judge finding that claims by the newspaper that he was a wife beater were substantially true. Now, Amber Heard's lawyers say that judgment should have come into this court case. What say you?
was a different process, right?
Absolutely. Different process in a different country, different charges, different party. Okay. If you want to bring in other previous illegal fiascos, Amber's got a fair few in her past as well that we could bring in that maybe are a little bit more comparable with this case here. You know, a previous domestic violence charge. Oh, well, I have never ever once hit a romantic partner before. No, literally the relationship that you were just in, a police officer seen it and arrested you, and there's a mugshot available for it. So what the fuck? But again, I think that's also what Camille's going to be going into. Like I said, haven't watched it, but can just kind of figure that stuff out.
And also, Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. So we disagree. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case in Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK, and we believe the jury got it right.
As you know, this trial was very closely watched. Social media certainly took off in a way that we've seen high-profile trials before, but this is the...
Yeah, notice how both of these interviews, okay, on ABC and on NBC, they're big fucking butthurt mad, okay? They're specifically saying, oh, it was very highly watched on social media. You guys have become social media stars. They're so mad that it's not mainstream media that was covering this closely, okay? Yeah, I think there was probably old terrestrial feeds of this going out on whatever cable networks that were out there, but most of the coverage that was done of this, most of the engagement was happening online, and they're so fucking mad when it comes to this stuff. We control the narrative. I can never quite figure out exactly what the expression of Ben is. It's like, yeah, no, the social media played nothing into this. I'm sure that's what his response is going to be, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool, that's fine. But then Camille's like, have you seen my memes? They're hilarious.
Social media age. Do you believe the jurors saw any of that, were swayed by any of that?
Do you believe that they broke their oath in order to help your client because it was overwhelmingly for Johnny, and we here at the mainstream media really do believe all women still for whatever stupid fucking reason?
No, I don't think there's any reason to believe that the jurors violated their oath. And again, that suggestion was disappointing to hear.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, exactly. They have an oath. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to implicate anybody of committing perjury. We've already seen enough of that, and we'll see how those charges bore out in other countries. It's not going to happen in the United States, but it might in the UK and in Australia. The Australian, whatever.
Amber Heard's lawyer said so. She said it would have been unavoidable because it's on TikTok, it's on social media. I mean, in the old days, you'd tell the jury before they went out, don't read newspapers, don't watch the evening news. Now it's everywhere.
It is everywhere, but at the same time, they were admonished every single night. And they had a tremendous amount of respect, I think, for the court and the process, and they were doing the best that they could.
Yeah. Support for Johnny Depp online was exponentially greater than for
exact same talking points. You can't make this up, kids.
Amber Heard. Just one example on TikTok, the Justice for Amber Heard hashtag has 27 million views. Justice for Johnny Depp, 20 billion.
Okay, but how much interaction is there for Amber Turd? You're not asking the hard questions, Savannah. Good pause screen.
Heard's attorneys have suggested that perhaps this is because of an orchestrated campaign on behalf of Johnny Depp. Do you know anything about an online campaign on behalf of Johnny Depp?
Motherfucker's not even on Twitter, so what are you worried about hashtags for Christ's sakes? Oh, just because he's not on Twitter, that means that he must be orchestrating a big smear campaign because Amber said so and we believe all women. Fuck off.
That is utterly baseless. In fact, very early in the case, the prior Chief Judge White had thrown out a count in the counterclaims that related to that. It was absolutely absurd and baseless.
And you know,
I'd like to know about that. That sounds interesting. And again, social media is not real life, so whatever.
For a fact that neither he nor his agents nor anyone tried to in some way pay for or otherwise encourage this kind of social media activity.
False. Categorically false.
Then that's just another big L for the Amber Heard law team. Okay, Johnny Depp didn't have to pay anybody for the overwhelming support. You heard those numbers, okay? They are 100-fold, in fact, for Johnny Depp. So that just should go to show you, the people that were watching the trial, they were the ones who were assessing the evidence that's out there. And this crosses the political divide, okay, the social divide, okay? Everybody looks, if they were looking at the trial, this is, okay? They were looking at the facts and the evidence presented and then came to an obvious fucking conclusion that Amber Heard is crazy and Johnny Depp was, in fact, the abusee in the relationship.
How do you think the jury didn't believe her? Because when you look at the verdict, it really comes down to that. The issue was, is what she's saying true or false? And by
look at those big old smiles on their faces, and they're just trying to hold back their laughter because they knew that that bitch was full of shit.
Their verdict, they said, it's false?
Well, my sense is that it had a lot to do with accountability. That
Oh, wait a minute. You're trying to make a woman live up to the A word? What do you, that's a misogyny.
Johnny owned his issues. He was very candid about his alcohol and drug issues. He was candid about some unfortunate texts that he wrote, and I think it was a sharp contrast.
Oh, come on, Ben. They weren't unfortunate. They were hilarious.
To Ms. Heard, who didn't seem, or at least the jury may have perceived, that she didn't take accountability for anything.
As you know, this has been closely watched, and in the Me Too context, some people have wondered whether there is a larger resonance to this trial, whether it sends a message. Do you see any larger message beyond the case you tried?
Nope.
No, I mean, frankly,
I love Camille.
we don't. We're here to talk about the case that we tried, right? We encourage all victims to come forward, have their day in court, which is exactly what happened in this case.
Do you feel confident in your appeal? Ms. Heard does intend to appeal.
We feel
But she can't afford it, so she can intend to. She's actually put. We got new word. Okay. Yeah. No. Actually, Amber Heard is pledging to appeal this decision because she can't afford it. You're poor.
very confident that there are no errors that would justify any kind of successful appeal.
And then finally, I have to ask you, not since OJ, perhaps, has the trial been so closely watched and the lawyers become famous people in their own right. What has that been like for you, particularly you, Camille? I think I saw someone on social media get a tattoo of your face on their body, which is weird.
I think Savannah's just mad because nobody is going to get such a horror show of a portrait on their arm. Like, okay, yeah, you can have a smiling face here, or you could even have Ben Chu's goofy face on your ass. Would you go with that? And I'm just wondering, though.
It's been overwhelming and surreal, but to the extent that I can encourage young women to stay in school and maybe inspire them to pursue a legal career, then it's all worth it.
Well, I understand you got a promotion yesterday to partner.
Well deserved.
I was going to say, about time.
Oh, that's
partner,
nice.
right? Camille Vasquez, Ben Chu. Just saying. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
They just seem so much more genuine and nice. Like, I don't know. I understand that, yes, I was on Johnny Depp's side, but that wasn't quite as laborious. Even both of those, like, that's shorter than when I broke down each singular interview from Elaine, because there was just so much horseshit in the other one, okay? I know they both talked the exact same talking points for both, okay, interviews, but still, they were far more relatable. It's mostly because they probably didn't hate their client. Like Camille said at the beginning of this, okay, she spoke to a mutual friend, okay, between her and Johnny, okay? These people, everybody involved likes each other, okay? You could see it at the table. You could see it just throughout the entirety of the trial. They were wanting Johnny to win. They thought that they had the best case, and they thought that they were going to be presenting it because they wanted to win for Johnny, okay? As for the other side, they were wanting to win for a paycheck. Let's be honest, okay? Because it's just Elaine because she has nothing better to do because all of the food bowls are full at home, okay? And there's enough water out there, and then the litter trough has been properly filled out. It's like outside of that, she has nothing else to do right now because I don't think she's getting anybody's really knocking down the office door to hire her for their next defamation case. So as opposed to Chu and the Vasquez right there. They've got to be hugely in demand right now. And they're going to have a gluttony of cases to choose going forward. We'll have to see if there is any additional charges to go up against Amber Heard, because we seen a little taste of that, just a little taste of it in the Good Morning America piece. But yeah, Amber just can't quit Johnny. Just can't quit. She just wants one last look. She just wants one last roll in the hay in order to try to get him back, because she realizes the old clock's a ticking. She's 36. Okay, she's a 36-year-old single mom. Who the fuck is gonna pick her up? Amber Heard attacks Johnny Depp for thanking his fans. Women's rights are moving backwards. No, just that woman's rights. Be thankful this wasn't a criminal case, because, ooh, buddy. Actress Amber Heard attacked Johnny Depp for posting a video montage on social media thanking his fans for support during the Depp v. Heard trial. The Aquaman actress. Well, to be fair, she was in the first one. We don't know if she's going to be in the second one because reports are out right now. And yeah, that fucking celluloid abortion is not going to be in theaters for at least a little while. Might be going back for some recuts, if you know what I mean. Declared, as Johnny Depp says he's moving forward, women's rights are moving backwards as a result of her stunning loss in the defamation trial. Stunning or excellent? You say tomato, I say tomato. To all my most treasured, loyal, and unwavering supporters, we've been everywhere together. We've seen everything together. We have walked the same road together. We did the right thing together. All because you cared. And now we will all move forward together. Depp said on his TikTok post, and yeah, the video was played at the same time of him, from inside the, well, no, it was an Escalade. I was going to say Suburban, like a poor person, but he has an Escalade. And once again, he's keeping it 100, super classy, and every single one of his posts out there. And that's awesome, okay? He doesn't mention Heard. He doesn't mention her team and anything like that. He's not taking pot shots. He's just saying, let's fucking move on with this shit, okay? I got gigs to go play with the Hollywood Vampires eventually, which is a sweet fucking band. Anyways, it's Alice Cooper, for Christ's sakes. You are, as always, my employers. And once again, I am whittled down to no way to say thank you, other than just saying thank you. And again, again, this is where she would have lost me if I was a juror in this, Amber Heard, okay? Always saying whenever Johnny Depp was getting abusive, oh my God, he would just continue to yell the exact same thing over and over and over again. The way that he speaks, even on the stand, he wasn't repetitive with any of his language, okay? That's where the dissonance began for me, okay? Because he is very eloquent. He has quite the loquacious vocabulary. This dude has a firm grasp of the English language. And can also speak French or something like that? I think I've heard that as well. As opposed to Amber Heard, who just continues to repeat the same fucking banal shit over and over and over again in all of the audio recordings that are out there, okay? She is everything that she alleged Johnny Depp to be. That's what the jury found. That's what the evidence presented, okay? She should have done a lot less of this and a lot more of this, because also in those audio recordings, what you heard was actually really good career advice. Be more than your 26-year-old tits, okay? Be a little bit better than just your looks, because that shit's gonna fade, and eventually you're gonna have to transition into a different role in your career. But no, she was just out there getting her fucking ass on screen, which, hey, congratulations, that was probably a good choice at the time. But as you know, right now, they aren't exactly, and haven't really been knocking down the door for your exquisite thespian prowess. They're just more or less staying away, because at 36-year-old, there are people literally half your age right now flooding Hollywood, okay? You would be hard-pressed not to trip over a fucking delicious 18-year-old walking the streets of LA right now, okay? Just take a stroll in any major metropolitan area right now. It's a harsh reality, but every single day there's a new crop of 18-year-olds just rolling right in, and your old ass, okay, as much of a high profile as you have right now, after all of these appeals and everything else gets settled, you're going to be nothing, okay? You better pray you and your legal team can figure out some sort of payment schedule, okay? You should just open up that OnlyFans right now, because you'd be making a killing right now. Just saying, strike while the iron's hot. And then for $25, stick that to iron up your ass or something. Depp's video montage thanking fans is his first ever TikTok post. Hopefully it's his last, because again, that's TikTok. As he appeared to have created the account on Monday, the actor's TikTok account has since garnered 8.6 million followers. TikTok is wild, dude, okay? It's one of those places where you can get a huge following on just reposted content, but there's no retention, and I don't get it. I don't want to get it, but I know it's there. It's kind of like herpes or AIDS. Heard reacted to her ex-husband's social media post by telling the media via her spokesperson, as Johnny Depp says he's moving forward, women's rights are moving backwards. Which ones? Tell me which ones. The right to leech off of my ex-husband and his wealth. Okay, cool, that one. The verdict message to victims of domestic violence is, be afraid to stand up and speak out. Yeah, you should be, if you're a fucking liar. Depp sued Heard for $50 million, and the motherfucker gets $8.35 million if he's feeling benevolent. And if not, I don't know, work out a settlement whenever Johnny decides to get home. Maybe she could take off his boots for him, shine him up real nice, turn those sumbitches sideways, and stick them straight up her candy. Anyways, with all that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.